All right, let's talk about Marty Monroe right now and describe him and his abilities. You've seen him.
Marty Monroe is a good mechanic. He's a real good boxer, and he can hurt you. Puts his punches together real well.
He has only one loss. He's 21-1. And, of course, his big moment, his last fight was March 9th against Scott Ledoux, St. Paul, Minnesota. He looked good in this round 5, didn't he?
Well, you can watch. He hurts Ledoux with both hands. There was a good jab, moving in pretty good. He had his hands up. Just moving. There's another good solid jab and a solid right hand. He can hurt you with either hand.
But the early rounds were dominated by Ledoux, who was aggressive. And perhaps Marty Monroe knew that he made a mistake because the boxer-puncher or boxer-brawler did not work out. He was too aggressive, was Monroe, and we talked about his strategy yesterday against Ledoux. Marty, it appeared that you did not fight your kind of fight against Scott Ledoux. You went after him, you mixed with him instead of the stick and the jab. Do you feel that way?
I feel that I'm going to be doing more sticking now. The style that Scott Ledoux had, he was a runner more or less than a comer. So this time Lynn Ball is a comer. And that's going to mean that I'm going to have to be using my left hand religiously and doing more boxing and being smart and clever. And then when I get ready to fight, do my thing. I'm hoping that I can wear him out between 5 and 7 rounds. We'll be just constantly boxing, sticking, using my left hand, throwing combinations, getting him confused, and making this fight a little bit more simplified than the last one.
So Monroe says he learned a lesson from the Ledoux experience. Now, the 3 losses that Ball has suffered were against runners. Now, is Monroe a runner?
No, Monroe is a good boxer. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's a runner. He stays in front of you, blocks your punches, counters well, and hits you with either hand.
Now, is he a much better puncher than Marty Monroe? How do you rate Lynn Ball?
Well, Ball is a real good puncher. He's fighting in his hometown. It's a big opportunity for him. But I have to go with Marty Monroe.
All right, let's go back now to December, and this was Lynn Ball's biggest moment so far. It was a second-round knockout. He is on the left, and Ron Lyle on the right. Fight taking place in Phoenix. Started with a left hook, and the right finally brought him down. And there he was, a fine athlete is Lynn Ball, who almost gave up boxing because he couldn't get fights, and he looked impressive against Ron Lyle, and now he's coming into the ring against a Marty Monroe. What about him? You were there, of course, in Atlantic City last week. You saw what the exposure of Jerry Cooney meant. I'm sure you were thinking what it will mean for me to fight and win on national television, because I know you want to get into that charm circle of the top 10.
Well, definitely I'd like to get in the charm circle, Dick. It's going to mean a lot to me just to win, because I made a vow that I'd never lose another fight, and I don't intend to lose another fight all the way to the title, and from there I want to keep it and retire. So getting in the circle, getting in the limelight is going to mean a lot, too, because I see the guys in the limelight, and I think I'm just as good or better than most of them.
But this is a tough fight for you.
It's going to be a very tough fight. It's going to be an interesting fight. I'm looking forward to having a pretty grueling fight, because it's going to be a thing where Marty don't want to give up, and I'm not going to give up. So the best wills and the best skills and the best whatever is going to win.
And the two of them worked together 2 years ago in Los Angeles, and that's where Lynn Ball made great progress. But Gil Clancy, your final comments, your view of this fight.
This is a boxer against the puncher, a classic matchup. I think we're going to see a real good fight, and I repeat, I like Marty Monroe in the fight.
So there you have it, Marty Monroe and Lynn Ball, and we're set to go. We'll be back with round 1 when we come back to El Paso's County Convention Center in just a moment. In El Paso, Texas, as you look at Lynn Ball, who fights out of Fort Worth but is from Bossier City, Louisiana. And, of course, his opponent being introduced right now, Marty Monroe. The crowd is favoring Lynn Ball, and we can tell that already. The rules for the fight, as established by the Texas Athletic Commission. The rounds are scored on a 10-point must system. The referee and 2 ringside judges score the fight. 3 knockdown rule is in effect. A mandatory 8 count is also in effect for all knockdowns, and a fighter may be saved by the bell only in the final round. You're looking at the referee, Marty Jenkins, who has worked 25 world title fights. He's from L.A.
And I expect you to obey him. The best thing I can say is good luck to both of you, and may the best man win.
The judges are Fred Sapporo and Joe Borzi from Texas. And we have an 18-foot ring. Advantage to anyone, Gil, would be to Ball, who would probably try to cut Monroe off.
Well, except that Marty Monroe, he will stay in front of you. He'll punch with you.
Monroe, as you saw, weighing just over 200 pounds. Ball at 217 1/4. A little bit heavier than they anticipated. He had been fighting at 212. So Monroe, 20 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw, according to Ring Magazine. Lynn Ball, 12-3, according to Ring. Round 1. Monroe on the left in the white trunk.
Dick, against Ledoux, Marty Monroe was susceptible to an overhand right. Ledoux scored quite a few punches with that, and it does cause a little danger for him against a puncher like Lynn Ball.
Monroe has a 3-inch height advantage.
Ball is a well-put-together individual. He's got muscles on muscles.
And he's going to the body. He is a former linebacker out of Grambling, had injuries and accidents that hurt him there, and he's scoring to the body here in this first round. Right hand by Monroe. Ball was moving back.
You know, we talked about Marty Monroe as a boxer. We said he wasn't a runner. He doesn't move his legs very much at all, but he has his hands up good and high.
Someone said that Monroe would be better as a cruiserweight, that if he was slimmed down to a cruiserweight, he'd be a better fighter.
Well, he's a big, tall guy. For him to make 180 pounds, if he'd still be strong, it'd be kind of soft.
Scheduled for 10 rounds or less here in El Paso. 2 fighters trying to get into the top 10. Who knows what happens from there.
Ball is a very, very relaxed fighter. Maybe too relaxed.
Reminder, the 2 of them worked together in 1978. And Ball really got his legs in training with Monroe, who's now coming on toward the end of this round.
Good right hand by Monroe.
And Ball is down. Right hand. And Lynn Ball who has been knocked down only once. We still have a minute remaining in round 1. He's knocked down only once, and that was by Lyle in the first round of their fight. Came back and knocked Lyle out in the second. Monroe sensing it here. Half a minute to go in the first round. Ball hovering up against Monroe here. He's hurt.
Trying to smother Monroe's punches. Monroe's doing a good job of moving him around. Punching good to the body and, in fact, up to the head.
Now we have less than a half a minute to go. Ball coming back with a volley of punches, including a right uppercut. And Monroe is taking the punishment now.
Got those hometown fans rooting for him. It helps.
What a round. And Ball is down. And Ball has been knocked down by a left hand by Marty Monroe. Second time he's down.
The bell has rung.
7, 8, right?
That knockdown went after the 3-minute mark. As soon as he got on his feet, they should have rang the bell. They didn't have to count to 8.
There was no bell. There was no bell. Let's take a look at the first knockdown.
Monroe is punishing Ball, and there goes that left hook. Right hand followed by a left hook.
And a volley of punches. And then Ball came back impressively, only to see Monroe, toward the end of that round, knock him down. Here, let's take a look at the second knockdown that came.
Well, we're taking a look at Marty Denkin right now. Let's see what happens here. Left hook on the temple. Down he went.
Here's Lynn Ball. Staggered in his first round by Marty Monroe. Let's see if he can come back the way he did against Ron Lyle. Round 2.
Well, Lyle had him down in the first round. He came back to knock out Lyle in the second round. He was hurt again by a left hook.
Left hook, and Ball is in trouble now. And we'll see if Monroe can take advantage of it. Another good left by Monroe.
Monroe hits him in the body, and he comes back with that left hook on the chin and on the temple. He's been landing frequently with that left hook.
Watch your head. Watch
Round
your head.
2, Monroe knocked down Ball twice in the first round.